Your mind works best when it no longer works against you. Let that idea settle without needing to analyze or challenge it. It is not a command. It is an observation of how mental systems function when tension, resistance, and habitual overthinking are released. Today is about living from clear, uncluttered awareness, not as a temporary state, but as a way of being. Mental clarity is not a trick, a tool, or a technique to deploy at will. It is the natural result of removing interference, reducing internal clutter, and trusting the mind's capacity to function without constant correction. Overthinking arises when the mind perceives threat in ambiguity, when it believes that every outcome must be predicted, every decision rehearsed, every possibility accounted for. That perception is understandable. It is rooted in survival instincts. Yet, in modern life, it creates fatigue, distraction, and internal conflict. When the mind no longer interprets uncertainty as danger, it stops generating excessive thought loops. Thoughts flow freely without ensnaring attention unnecessarily. You may notice that you have spent much of your life in cycles of analysis, questioning, and mental rehearsal. These cycles, though intended to protect, often end up constricting energy and narrowing perception. Living from clear awareness involves a shift in identity from overthinker to clear thinker, not through effort, but through repeated experience of clarity itself. Each time attention rests without chasing every possible outcome, the mind reinforces its ability to function without overwork. Right now, notice how attention naturally moves. Observe the difference between a thought that arises and captures you entirely, and a thought that passes through like a leaf on a stream. You are learning to allow movement without entanglement. Entanglement has been habitual, often unnoticed. Awareness alone begins to loosen it. This is not judgment, it is recognition. Recognition is the first step toward freedom. When the mind experiences repeated clarity, even briefly, the nervous system registers safety. Safety signals that effort is not constantly required to maintain control or predict outcomes. That signal creates space. Space allows decisions to arise naturally. It allows creativity, perception, and insight to flourish. You may notice the body responding to this shift. Posture softens, breathing deepens. Muscles that were holding tension release incrementally. These bodily cues reinforce mental clarity. Living from clear awareness is embodied, not just conceptual. Mental clarity and physical ease are inseparable. You do not need to manufacture calm. You allow it to emerge as habitual interference diminishes. Clarity feels spacious. It is not cramped by doubt, anxiety, or overanalysis. Thoughts are neither absent nor oppressive. They are observed without undue attachment. Each observation strengthens the habit of non-interference. You may notice habitual reactions arising, internal scripts that say you should think harder, plan more, evaluate again. These are echoes of the overthinking identity. Notice them. Do not engage. Do not argue. Recognition alone is sufficient. Each non-engagement is a subtle but powerful act of mental reorganization. Sustainable mental clarity is reinforced through repetition, not intensity. small moments of deliberate awareness accumulate. Each choice to allow clarity rather than chase complexity strengthens the neural pathways associated with clear thinking. You may find that insights arise without effort. Solutions appear not through pressure, but through attention unburdened by compulsion. This is the hallmark of living from clarity. You are not separate from your thoughts. You are separate from compulsive patterns of overthinking. That distinction is critical. Thoughts come and go. Compulsive loops do not define you unless you feed them. Awareness allows recognition without entanglement. Identity shifts when you consistently respond from this space rather than from anxiety or habit. Over time, the self that once defined itself by constant analysis is replaced by a self that recognizes capacity, presence, and trust in the mind's natural function. This identity is not imposed. It emerges naturally when the mind repeatedly experiences functioning without overwork. You may notice that attention to experience, sensation, sound, bodily presence grounds clarity. Awareness anchors in the present. The present is where overthinking loses power, because overthinking lives in imagined futures or rehearsed pasts. Anchoring in the present reduces mental load and frees energy. This energy is available for creativity, engagement, and perception. Clear awareness is not a state of inaction. It is a state of intelligent responsiveness. Decisions, actions, and insights arise efficiently. There is no need for unnecessary mental rehearsal. You may observe that as clarity deepens, emotional regulation becomes more natural. Anxiety diminishes because the mind stops generating unnecessary narratives. Frustration eases because the mind stops resisting what is already present. Joy and curiosity return because attention is no longer monopolized by repetitive loops. Mental clarity is sustainable because it is not forced. Effort diminishes. Allowing increases. You do not achieve clarity by thinking harder. You achieve clarity by thinking differently, or more accurately, by allowing thought to function without interference. Daily life becomes easier. Simple decisions no longer feel heavy. Creativity flows more readily. Perception feels sharper. The sense of being overwhelmed recedes. This does not mean that challenges or complexity vanish. They do not. It means that the mind now approaches them from a place of capacity rather than scarcity. You are not at the mercy of every thought or impulse. You are aligned with your capacity to respond. Over time, this alignment becomes habitual. Mental clutter diminishes because attention no longer lingers unnecessarily on inconsequential matters. The mind naturally filters, prioritizes, and acts with intelligence. You may notice that habitual worry or rumination arises. These patterns may still appear. Do not resist them. Simply recognize and allow them to pass. Each recognition without engagement strengthens the neural architecture for clarity. You are training the mind to operate from awareness, not from compulsion. As this process deepens, even minor tasks are approached with a sense of ease. Thoughts are not fuel for anxiety, but tools for intelligent response. The mind becomes reliable, not because it is perfect, but because because it is uncluttered. Living from clear awareness is iterative. It grows with each moment of conscious choice. Each time you allow clarity instead of overthinking, you reinforce the identity of a clear thinker. That identity is now available to you naturally. You are not starting from zero. You are realigning with capacity that has always existed beneath habitual noise. The body, attention, and mind learn together. Embodied calm supports mental clarity. Awareness supports bodily ease. This integration strengthens baseline stability. Life is approached from presence rather than reaction. You may notice that in this state, time feels different. Not slower or faster, but more coherent. Moments are experienced fully rather than rushed or fragmented. Memory becomes sharper because attention is present, not scattered. Relationships improve because listening becomes deeper and more authentic. Decision-making improves because the mind is clear, not overworked. You may notice that external stimuli no longer hijack attention automatically. Focus becomes selective rather than reactive. This selectivity is the result of repeated practice in noticing and non-engagement with unhelpful patterns. Each time you allow thought to function without interference, you reclaim energy previously consumed by doubt and overanalysis. Clarity feels self-sustaining. It does not need constant reinforcement because it arises naturally when the mind is not working against itself. You are not emptying the mind. You are unburdening it. Thoughts continue, but they no longer dominate attention unnecessarily. This is the distinction between overthinking and clear thinking. One is compulsive and energy draining. The other is fluid and intelligent. As you integrate this perspective, you may notice that clarity becomes a baseline rather than a temporary state. Even during challenges, you can return to this baseline quickly because it has been experienced repeatedly. This baseline supports resilience. Mental effort is used strategically, not habitually. Overthinking is replaced by intelligent engagement. You may notice a subtle shift in identity as you absorb these principles, where before the self defined itself through analysis and over-preparation, it now begins to recognize capability and trust. You already know how to think clearly when not overworked. The practice is to remove interference and allow that capability to function naturally. Each decision to observe without compulsion, each moment of attention without entanglement, reinforces this identity. Over time, living from clear, uncluttered awareness becomes habitual. Your mind operates efficiently because it is aligned with its design, not fighting against it. Daily life reflects this integration. Choices are made with ease. Presence is felt in interactions. Emotional regulation is natural. Energy is available for what truly matters. Clarity sustains itself because it is no longer conditional on constant control. You are the observer and the participant. You are the clear thinker and the experiencer of clarity. Your mind works best when it no longer works against you. And each time you remember, notice, and allow, you live from that clarity effortlessly, sustainably,